So this year I grew a lot of new to me and new in general plants, and I want to show you right now which ones I like the best. Let's go check it out. First up, and probably my number one new plant for the year, if I was ranking them, is Cherry Cordial Surefire Begonia. First of all, I want you to take a look at this. Those are Bobo hydrangeas there, and it is almost as tall as the Bobos. So I'm going to say 30 inches on this, easy. These plants have filled in so well. You might see that I tried to stick some Diamond Frost Euphorbia in there, and that was worthless because they immediately ate that up. These are extremely vigorous plants. These are growing in one of those situations where I think Surefire begonias work really, really well, which is kind of part sun, part shade. You're not really sure what's what. They just kind of work there. And the foliage is so clean and so pretty. It's nice, shiny, kind of bronze, chocolatey bronze foliage. Hope you can see this. The flowers kind of just shimmer when they're backlit. Everything about these flowers is just a total winner. I have not fertilized these. I barely watered these this year, honestly, just when it got super, super dry. They've just pretty much been left to their own devices, and they knocked it out of the park. Next up is Royal Hawaiian Waikiki Colocasia. I grew 3 of these this year. 1 here as a filler in this big planter, and then 2 in the pool planters out at the family cottage where they were in self-watering containers, and those really took off and are really amazing. All around just fabulous, just an amazing plant. Did take a little bit of while to get going. That's pretty typical for Colocasia for me, so I'm not surprised by that. Absolutely phenomenal. What a great plant. I am definitely overwintering this. Next up is this Superbells Double Vintage Coral. This is Proven Winners plant. Okay, I don't usually do really well with Superbells, but this is phenomenal. This is a pretty small pot. It's probably a 12-inch pot, and I have, I think, 3 of them in here. So this is a lot of plants, but they have flowered pretty much continuously. I never had to cut these back or anything, obviously. And I think I last fertilized these over a month ago because I've not kept up with my fertilizing since my garden tour. And you can see that it's still just covered in flowers. So fabulous performer, excellent Superbells right there. This is Surefire White Begonia. This is the other new begonia in the Surefire line. Holy smokes, this is a really good performer if you like seeing some foliage. You're definitely going to see some foliage on here, but look at how tall this plant is. Again, we're looking at about 30 inches here. I planted 3 of these in each cluster. That was completely unnecessary because I've been cutting them back because they're just too big for the area. So I could have definitely done 2 in these area, but they all look really, really good here. This is full hot sun that they are in here, and they're doing great. I would say the one complaint about these, I don't even think it's a complaint, just to note that as the foliage dies back or the flowers die back, it sort of sits on the foliage and there's some brown bits. I've not groomed these at all. About 2 seconds once a week would take care of that. Fabulous performer, nice. I mean, this is full hot sun, south exposure here. And just a nice, beautiful plant that doesn't need a lot. The next one is this one. This is Queen Tut Papyrus, and I planted this one in several different ways this year too. It's in this border where I think it's just a fabulous foliage accent, and obviously it's a foliage thing. It doesn't really get flowers to speak of that you're worried about. So it looks great. It's also this kind of lighter green that I think kind of stands out better. I also have it in this container over here. So you can see it here in this container where it sort of blends in a little bit more because it's about the same color as the Superbena foliage. I like this papyrus because it stays nice and tidy. It's not too big, and I just really like the texture. So of all the papyrus in Proven Winners series, this is my favorite by far. I did grow it in the pond as well. Honestly, did not impress me in the pond at all, in the stock tank pond. But here, planted in the ground with drip irrigation, perfect. Equal opportunity for herbs here. This is Pesto Party Basil. This is from Burpee. This is new for next year. And I grew the 2 plants that I got from them in this container by the back door. It's the basil I've been using the most. It tastes delicious. It keeps producing. It has not even thought about flowering yet. Great performer here. My very favorite basil is always Emerald Towers basil, Everleaf Emerald Towers basil, which actually didn't do that well for me this year. So I've been relying on this basil for most of my uses this summer. Very good one. So this is not new, but it is new to me, and this is Kelgian Dahlia. And this flower is just opening up, so it doesn't show its full beauty, but it is a water lily shaped flower, which is a form that I don't grow a ton of. And it's a very light pink, like blush, ballet type pink. And it's really a stunner. I'm so in love with this form that even though I don't need any more dahlias, I'm going to look for some more water lily forms because it's just been an absolute knockout. And I am starting to see it all over social media now, so I'm not the only one enamored with this dahlia. Okay, consider me in love. This is Fatshedera, or if you want to pronounce it properly, apparently it's Fatshedera, because it's a combination between Fatsia and Hedera. I think Fatshedera is more fun to say, so that is what I say. Angiostar is the name of this one. I got this one from Southern Living Plants collection, and come on. When I had people over at the house for a tour, so many people asked me what this was. This is not hardy in my area, so I will dig it up and bring it in the house and attempt to overwinter it, which apparently is not so hard with these, so we'll see. I can kill almost anything inside without trying too hard at all. But it's a beauty. It grew quite a bit since I planted it. It filled in this area really nicely, and all I did was sort of twine it around string to sort of give it a little bit of support, but a winner. And if you live in an area where this is hardy, you have no excuse not to grow this plant. And then I have Tradescantia Pistachio. I think it's relatively new to the market. I've seen a lot of people growing it this year. It's kind of must be out there, but it is this beautifully striped Tradescantia. And I have 3 in this pot, which is, I would say, probably too many. In fact, you can see what it's doing over on this side. It is just weeping all over the place. You know, the only issue with this plant is that it really wants some shade, and that's too bad because I can think of a whole bunch of sun areas where I would love to grow this. But if you've got some shade, this is just a real winner. I'm actually probably going to cut some of these and root some cuttings. It's really easy to root, so we'll see if I can overwinter it at all. And if you're admiring this begonia, this is Appleblossom begonia. It's awfully pretty. Okay, here is a fun little plant. This is a Kufia, and it's still blooming. It's a little bit out of bloom, but there's a whole bunch of buds on there. Still going nuts. Just a beautiful, it's got open flowers, unlike some of the Kufia that you might be used to. But it is still a hummingbird magnet. And this is Sweet Talk Deep Pink Kufia. And it's low growing, I would say 16 inches maybe. This is in the ground performance. I would love to put this in some containers. I have talked about tassel flower too many times on this channel this year, but I do have to mention it because it is absolutely a must grow for me now. It is this adorable little annual. This is Amelia coccinea. This is Irish Poet. And I'm hoping it will reseed itself around the garden because it is known to be a rather prolific reseeder. But it is the most brilliant bright orange, just dotted between things. If you could put this near some maybe Agastache Blue Fortune or something, talk about a winning combination. Now, it is always hard to judge perennial performance based on the first year you have it. So I usually try to hold off because part of perennial performance, in my opinion, is how it does over winter. But here is a really good one that is doing well so far, and we'll see how it does over winter, but I did want to mention it because I was very skeptical at first. So this is Artemisia Silver Lining. This is Walter's Garden sent this my way. This is a proven winner's Artemisia. And I think obviously you can see what's so great about the foliage. Now we've got some bronze fennel popping up in there as well. And some Pygnanthemum muticum sort of in the way. This is some more of the plants over here. I mean, I think you can see how the foliage sort of browns out a little bit. Very common for an Artemisia late in the season, but the newer foliage is nice, clean, brilliant brilliant silver foliage. It grew very well for me this year, well enough that I think you could easily use this in a container and have a really good show in a container as well. And last but not least is this beautiful Weigela Midnight Sun, which has been this color or thereabouts all summer long. This is not just fall color that you're seeing here now. It's been sort of colors of reds and oranges all summer. Has really filled in beautifully. The Gara that is flanking it was just here while these were growing in this year. I'll pull those out. They're not hardy in my area anyway, or very questionably hardy in my area. So I'll pull those out, but we'll be left with a mass planting of these, and really stunning. So that's the roundup of my favorites for this year, but tell me in the comments what new plant you grew this year that you absolutely loved, because I can't wait to hear it. So if you missed anything from the garden this year, you can check some of those things out in the videos that are here or here. And thank you for watching, and have a great day in your garden.